Notre Dame coming out firing and beats Navy 42-3. I think that my prognostication of the game in the preview show was dead on. So, I'm going to be wrong a lot this year. I'm going to point out when I was right. And that was starting out the year with an easy bet win is always a good thing. But, Hartman, I think, set a Notre Dame record for most touchdown passes in his debut. 251 yards, 4 touchdowns, completion 82%. And don't hey, you know what? A record's a record. It's not like Notre Dame is opening up the Denver Broncos every year.
How many guys have debuted at Notre Dame with as much experience as Sam Hartman against a team as bad as Navy? I'm just saying.
Too, it's tied for most touchdowns in Notre Dame debut. There might be
Jack
13
Cohn,
other
I
people
believe.
who did that. Yeah. No, listen. 82% completions, 4 touchdowns, 251 yards. It was a far more functional passing offense than the team that we saw last year. When you were watching this game, I understand it was in Ireland. I understand that they're playing Navy's horrid, pass defense. But we came into this game thinking that, Navy would be able to stop the run a little bit because they were the top 10 team in rush defense last year. Notre Dame ran through them, no problem, threw the ball over the field. Did you leave this game with a different viewpoint in Notre Dame as, hey, maybe this is a team that can do something this year?
Maybe. I think two things are true at the same time. I think Navy might be really bad. We'll see about Newberry. Time will tell. I think Notre Dame also looked really, really good. I mean, even in your wildest dreams, I don't think you could see them play that well on both sides of the ball. They're getting gashed a little bit on that opening drive, and then they sort of corrected. And I think the Sam Hartman, Jared Parker, that's going to be a really good marriage, I think. Ultimately, they needed each other. Sam Hartman, he left Wake Forest because he was tired of all the questions from the NFL about, hey, this is a gimmicky offense. It doesn't really translate, the slow mesh. We don't know about your footwork. We want to see you under center. At some point, he was going to have to transition, and he was going to have to adjust to playing in a new offense. Well, this seems like a much better situation to do it now than in NFL camp. If you're a 6th round pick and they don't care about you at all, you're the show at Notre Dame. They're going to put everything into you that they possibly can. And Notre Dame needed an elite quarterback. And I think ultimately, for whatever we want to say about Wake Forest's offense, when they protected Sam Hartman, which was most snaps, his decision-making, his accuracy, his arm talent, I mean, he is what we thought he would be, right? And I think ultimately, we talked about this on our Lessons Learned podcast earlier this year that, this is the plug and play era. And, it's sort of like fantasy football in a lot of ways in that, well, what if we put this guy in this situation? We're going to see that in a lot of different places. And Sam Hartman is probably the top of the list. And, this is a marriage of two sides that really needed each other, and they couldn't get off to a better start. And, it's quite the honeymoon to start this thing off.
Yeah, I think too, Dave, everybody opens the season with a layup. And as we're talking right now, Zachariah Branch, the 5-star true freshman receiver for USC, ran back the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown, 96 yards. And I think that's his 3rd touchdown of the game, 2nd or 3rd. And he's certainly going to be one of the stars of the sport this year. And I love it when 5 stars just come out firing. It's like, some develop and some are just the best player on the team from day one. He plays with Caleb. He's not going to be the best player of the team, but certainly one of the best players on the West Coast. I'm excited to watch it. But you start off a game against a team that you should roll over, and then you just do it. I think there is something to be said about hot starts, nothing really to complain about on both sides of the ball, and just like taking care of business. Because like USC is going to win this game probably 59-28, and people are going to forget about it. But there's going to be a lot of discussion about the defense and all the stuff. It's like, what do you even nitpick with Notre Dame? I mean, like my prevailing thought was, Notre Dame has 2 more or 3 more games, then I get to go to South Bend and watch them play Ohio State on September 23rd. And that should be one of the best games of the non-conference or maybe the season. So, do you think that this team can beat Ohio State?
Well, certainly they can. I think, the week one's always tough because you don't really know. I mean, everybody was, throwing Dan Lanning and Oregon out last year of, what are they going to do? Well, it turns out Georgia was really, really good. Is Navy, a 7-5 team, a 6-6 team, and Notre Dame was just that dominant? or is Navy gearing up to go 2-10? You have a new offense there. Certainly still basically the triple option, but some tweaks. You saw some of the tweaks they put in the offense this week or this year under Newberry, and you just don't really know. So they're kind of an unknown entity, but they're not a pushover. So to be this dominant, I don't know that this was quite a name your number game, but certainly, Notre Dame could have scored a little bit more, and they leaned really heavily on their run game in that first half. They weren't really asking Sam Hartman to do that much, and when your running game's that effective, life gets really easy in the pocket. But I don't know how you can't be very impressed with everything that you saw from not only Notre Dame, but I think Sam Hartman. I think it should make sense, right? It should work. But you don't know. We've seen these things not go great, and we're still pretty young in the portal era. I mean, this is more of a, we've seen grad transfer QBs more, make the move that Sam Hartman has made. We've seen this more, 8 or 9 years we've seen this. I mean, Russell Wilson was the first big one, but we've seen it a few times. It doesn't always go great. And, can Sam Hartman be that elite guy? He's already a great quarterback. In a pro offense with more talent around him and a better defense, does he go to that next level? Maybe. Or is it just like the adjustment's hard to make? Based on week 1, it looks like he's going to the next level. So we'll see.
Yeah, Chris Callahan here in the chat said Ohio State and Notre Dame is going to be tasty. I can't wait. I've never been to South Bend. It's going to be my first time ever seeing a game there. But it reminded me too, if you're listening to this on Sunday morning with your eggs, you can join us on Saturday night. We're going to be going a little bit earlier than we did last year on the YouTube channel. Every Saturday, we're going to have a live show. We're going to try to get people involved. And the link to the YouTube channel can be found in the show's description. But of course, if you like being an audio person, we respect that too. Please rate, review, and of course, subscribe to the Until Saturday feed wherever you listen to podcasts. But yeah, I really, really think that, a team that has a functional quarterback is one thing, from a danger standpoint. But a team that has a really, really good quarterback, especially Notre Dame, like they've had some guys. I think Ian Book is the all-time passing yardage or touchdowns leader in Notre Dame history, but like we know that guy was just pretty good in college. Like, what if Sam Hartman is legitimately just a top 2-round NFL type pick? His experience as a 24-year-old man is, you're going to hear about that a lot. Somebody who probably took advantage of the COVID year and is a little bit more season than you would expect most people can do at this position. I really think that Notre Dame, if they can get some skill position players to step up, could be a very interesting storyline. So to get through this, to get through this game, and by the way, I don't even remember them completing a pass to a receiver a year ago. So watching them actually get open and, again, it's not the 2000 Ravens out there, but, they did a pretty good job of taking what was there and kind of asserting their dominance. And I knew that it was going to be a blowout in the first drive when they were just running through them. So, I like their line. I like their power. I like their athleticism. And of course, who's the last bona fide NFL quarterback that Notre Dame's had? Maybe I'm forgetting somebody obvious and I look like an idiot, but who comes to mind for you?
What do we mean by NFL quarterback? Like, are we counting
top round
Quinn, or what
legitimately? Like maybe
Brady Quinn seems like
the
last one that jumps off of me. Like the last first round guy, probably.
Or some, and I don't know. Obvious. Like, I'm not a draft expert yet. And it's really early in the season. But if Hartman plays his way into that discussion, then I think Notre Dame has a leg up from what it's been in the past. So,
I think you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit on Hartman, because I don't think, at the end of the day, the NFL and the draft itself is a tools game. And I think, tools is one thing, and the tools drive the draft. NFL success, I think, is driven by accuracy and processing. And Sam Hartman looked like he had all those things today. Very accurate. He seemed to be seeing the field really, really well today. If you can do those things, I think you can really be special. And I don't. I don't think he can play his way into the first round no matter what he does. I just think the tools aren't necessarily there. Maybe I'm wrong about that. He's going to start this
6'2", 215
round
pounds.
undrafted.
Yeah, but I don't know that I think that he's going to be a first round pick. But what I'm saying is having a quarterback who plays in a way that, makes him a first day or second day draft pick and potential NFL player. It's like, I don't know if you would have watched Brock Purdy last year and said, hey, this guy's got all the tools. And, I don't know. I just think that there's a second level between Ian Book and Caleb Williams there that I think Sam Hartman's firmly in. And if he plays out of his mind, it puts you in a position where you might actually start thinking that Notre Dame can do some things that, seemed impossible last year. From the chat here, For Wombly said that there were 0 tight end catches today for Notre Dame, which with what they did with Mayer last year, it almost feels like, how do we get to this point? And, I don't know. I left the day thinking like, okay, maybe Notre Dame can be a problem. I don't know that I think they're going to go win a national title or anything. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but this is overreactions week 0, buddy. Like, let's have some enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they go toe to toe with Ohio, I think after you see today, if they go toe to toe with Ohio State and USC and beat one of them, neither one of us are going to be on this stream going, oh man, we're just gonna be like, yeah, like, peak Notre Dame, I think, can do some things. And I think a lot of like today started at the line play. Like they dominated both lines. And when you do that, everything looks good. Can they do that against Ohio State? Can they do that against, I'm not going to throw USC in that discussion. We'll get to them later and their line issues. But like, I don't think they're not going to be that dominant on both lines every game. And so when teams are, I'm tentative to sort of be like, well, okay, like that was good. But it's the same thing we run into every year that, when you run over a team like this and everything's easy and you're in the backfield immediately and your quarterback's, having a picnic in the pocket, you're like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. So I want to see them when they can't dominate the line of play.